Greetings, welcome again on another day. Today we are going to bake the Christmas cake. Yes, we've started from the shopping side. Whenever you want to bake, make sure you have the correct ingredients. That is how you start to get the good results. So I'm now starting to bake this fruit cake. I have added in brown baking sugar. Now what I'm doing is adding fruits. I just want to have measurements for a very small fruit cake. So I added 3/4 sugar. That's a cup that I'm using. Now I'm adding fruits. So I have the mixture of fruits that I favor most. So I have cranberry, apricot, and the raisins. So that is what I'm going to use for my fruit cake. You can choose whatever you want. So that section I showed you in the supermarket, it's where you get all this stuff, the baking section. I added into the pot all of the ingredients, and I have this red wine that I just added 6 mils of red wine into the pot. I'm now going to cook it. Yes, you need to put it in the saucepan just like that. On medium-low heat, cook it until the sugar is well dissolved, until the fruits are starting to bring out the juicy out of them. We just want that thicky extract to come out of the fruits. When the fruits are cooking on the side, in a separate bowl, add cooking oil. So I'm adding 3/4 cup of cooking oil. Yes, I don't have the 3/4 cup, so I used a half and I then measure again. So that's 3/4 cup of oil. That's now I'm adding on butter, milk. I don't have it, but we always improvise. I like it this way. This is natural yogurt that I'm opening right now. That's natural yogurt. So I put 1:1 with fresh milk. That's how I end up with my buttercream. So it's optional. You can always know how to make your buttercream the way it is easy for you. But for me, this is how I do it. Now add fresh milk to the natural yogurt. And the result, guys, it's just wow. So in the kitchen, every time when you are making something, we all have our own ways. We all have our own tricks. But this, I guarantee you, it's just going to give the best outcome ever. So mix those two just to combine. Add that mixture to the oil. As you are adding the mixture to the oil, and I want this cake to be more of flour texture than more of fruit texture. So you'd realize that I'm not really going to add much of fluid. So that is fine like that. I added vanilla essence. You can choose any essence that you like most. So I just chose vanilla essence. Mix well and set it aside. Now your fruits are cooked. Remember, there are fruits, red wine, and sugar combined in this one. So we want it to cool off a little bit more. After cooling off, that is when we are going to take this to the next stage. Stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed, this is the time for you to like, subscribe, and share. We cook every day. We enjoy the meals. We share the recipes here. This is my kitchen, my restaurant. So, guys, if you are to look at this, mind you, I have the wet ingredients, but I didn't put this egg for a purpose. Why didn't I put this egg earlier on? I don't want it to settle away before I'm mixing with all other ingredients. So this is the reason why. So I have just to mix it when I'm about to add the dry ingredients. That is the reason. So mix well to combine with the other wet ingredients, which is exactly what I'm doing. The good thing about this cake is you are not even worried about having the hand mixer. You can just do it using a whisker, just like the way I'm doing it. So the flour that I'm using today, it's Odlam cream flour. It's very smooth. It's good for cakes. You can go and choose any of the cake flours that's in the supermarkets surrounding you. So I used 2 eggs. Hence, I'm going to use 2 cups of flour. These 2 cups of flour, they also need, because it's plain flour, so we will need a raising agent. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Every cup is 1 teaspoon of baking powder. So I'm adding 2 so that I can just sieve together everything. Now, I also want the bicarbonate of soda, but I'm not going to put so much. This is just a little bit of bicarbonate, only half a teaspoon that I'm adding in. I want that texture. Whenever you're baking, the tricky between the plain flour, bicarbonate soda, and the baking powder. So now I also have to add a little bit of salt. That's a 1/4 teaspoon of salt that I'm adding again into the cup so that I'll just sieve everything together. That's now all our dry ingredients sorted in. I am sieving through the rest of this flour, and then bit by bit I'll be adding in the rest of the ingredients. So now I'm now just going to mix this gently. You don't have to go fast. So now I'm doing this so gentle, trying to mix the flour, and I want the smooth texture out of this dough. This smooth texture just comes out of whisking continuously for approximately a minute, and then that's done. If you can see that it's really smoothie and it shows that there are no lumps. At this point, that's only where you can add on the fruits. But the fruits, I want them little by little. Probably I'm going to pour in half and then the last half. So these fruits are a little bit warm. They are not really cold, because if you have to leave them until they are cold, that juice is going to be sticky. So you have to wait until it's just warm and then add into the rest of the ingredients. It's another trick there. Now mix and combine. This is how simple is baking this fruit cake. Just like that. So some other people would prefer to have an extraction of the juice out of the fruits. It's optional. You can sieve off the fruits and just take the extract. But for me, I really wanted the fruits in, so I'm adding everything in. That's done. I have to prepare the pan. So this is just an 8-inch. I'm making a small cake. I don't really want it to be so big. So this is the pan that's suitable for the amount of ingredients that I used. Put the baking paper so that it doesn't stick onto the pan. Just is like that. You cut off the piece and then we are ready to bake. Mind you, when you are now ready to bake, at this point you have to have your oven preheated. So my oven is already preheating at 150 degrees Celsius. That is where I'm going to bake using that same heat. I once realized that whenever you change the heat regulation, preheating and then while baking, it's going to mess up with the texture of your cake. So be very sure of the amount of heat that you need for baking. So add the dough into the pan and then ready to cook. Guys, this is the best cake that I ever baked. Like, I am not that person who used to love branding, who used to love fruit cakes, but now you have to try this. Stay tuned for a while. I want to tell you how do we store this and how am I going to preserve it until the Christmas time. So I said it's for Christmas, right? So after baking this, I'll cool it off on the rack, and approximately I'm going to bake for 50 minutes, obviously at 150 degrees Celsius until it's cooked. What I'm doing there is just expelling the bubbles. So I was saying, after baking, cool it on the rack, and then we have to preserve it. How do we preserve it? Make just it into a foil. After the foil, if we are to add a brand, add the brand, and then please don't forget to keep it in a cool, dry place. That's it. But you can still go for it as fresh as it is and then enjoy. Guys, it was a nice time in the kitchen sharing with everybody. My kitchen, my restaurant. As always, I love you guys. Till next time. Bye-bye.